Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Modding on a Thursday. We are going to be working on some Thrawn Revenge, maybe some Fall of the Republic, but basically what we do on these streams is I turn the stuff that I would be doing lonely off stream into streamable stuff, and then I can call it two kinds of work, even though it's less efficient for both of them this way. But I am first off going to test something. So I have optimized a bit of code here that I need to make sure actually works. This is the New Republic government election stuff, where it used to get a list of every structure. So it was finding 10 different types of things and then adding that up. I've just made a new perception, which we have here, which should do that in a more efficient way and hopefully reduce some of the lag between weeks. We are still working on a couple things to hopefully reduce the lag in game and the time between weeks. So this is just one of those things, and then we're probably going to work on some stuff also with influence. So that'll be what we're doing here. So hello Nemesis, Kiwi, Tritone, 3Coal, Tropical Tree, Too Lazy to Make a Username, Thomas Schwartz, Mark V. Just loading the game. Oh, perception parsing errors. I did a bad thing. This is why I haven't synced yet. Variable cell structure type. All right. Where do we have this? Where's cell structure count? Pilot Academy. Actually, will that show up in perception parsing errors? Corruption, perception errors, 9.5. Okay. So that's not right now. I'd have to run in debug, which I guess I will do. Open Steam. There's my debug. I kind of want to listen to music, but for some reason my Spotify doesn't automatically connect to it. All right, so this should just tell us everything we need to know. So please update. Look, Mark, they can't all be... You just got to picture the spaceships yourself, really. We're making that thumbnail a possibility. Okay. Oh, fuck it. Where is... Ooh. Your package is shipped. That's fun. Pure later. No thanks. Alright, is this updating yet? Nor, yes, nor. Alright, we don't need any more of this. I just want to close that now. Reload. Bad portion is influence 6. Oh, this is why. Sometimes I feel like I'm being too lazy with that, where I probably could have just looked at that for more time and it would have shown me. But I blame actually Bob and Pox's influence, where everything's like, oh, go into debug. Where I used to just look at it and be like, oh, this is that. Because the problem is, the debug build takes so fucking long to open, and I hate it. But it's really useful. Yeah, this needs music. Hey, Google. play Cold War Kids?
Alright, here's Cold War Kids on Spotify.
Hey Google, turn down. I'm gonna do that. Here we go. Hey Black Wolf. I'm not bad. How are you? Alright, so I just want to test if the thing I did before the stream actually works. That's always the fun part of being a streamer, is I get to turn on everyone's Alexa, Siri, hey, their Google stuff. That's why I said it that way, and then went over to do the other thing. That's why you don't keep the default settings, but I do because I don't watch streams. That's a lie. What's gonna be the quickest? I guess Empire's Essence is the New Republic. I kind of wanted to display the number of votes for and against, so maybe we'll do that. Which we'll probably need 2 equations for instead, which is slightly less efficient, but you can actually display it that way. So let's see if that works how we want. Do we want to have that update on weekend? I don't know. It's in the other room. I mean, maybe it's because of how clear and clean my voice is in this YouTube audio, sponsored by YouTube. But then we'd have to calculate it every week, which is less fun. Because, hold on, let's see. Election held. Update. I guess we could get the equation there. But that's still going to be more work to do on the week rollover. So I don't know if it's really something that we want. The votes for the chief of state elections. You know what? I'm actually going to close this out. We're going to stay in game. So Lewis scripts, because Lewis scripts you can actually modify while you're in game and then reload in, and they'll be modified. XML stuff, it'll usually say that you're able to reload it like that, but then you actually can't, which is annoying as fuck. But last election time. Has Jordan been testing this? One. Yeah, that's doing it every week. I think Jordan's been testing this. But this isn't really the main thing we're going to be working on today. I want to do some stuff with stability and unrest. So we'll do the basics of this, and then we'll do the... I'll probably do the particle off stream.
System control achieved.
All right, what do we got here? So this is for something else. These are the active duty admirals, which that's a whole other can of worms that we'll get to. But let's support
Constructing
you.
unit.
CN Tev. Or Tew, as some stuff calls him. That'll change in the week. So, Santev. A lot of these upgrades aren't super impactful just yet, but
Mission log
I want to
updated.
see when the... Am I doing this wrong? Or am I reading this wrong? Did I put that there? I don't think I put that there. Why's that S there? Oh, I fucked that up. I just didn't save. Okay, we're good. Last election time. Where's the government manager? That's on week update, right? Yeah, update. It's on weekly update. Where's in it? Yeah, weekly update. So then every update it would +1. So that, yeah, that should work out, I'm thinking. The Kermit submod? No, that's here. I have a lot of sound files to go through. Thanks, Peter. So let's see. We're gonna lose every election right now because I don't have any resources. I wish I knew what was going on with this this weird math. Will Grunger's forces be represented in the next update? Yeah, he sort of already is. It really just depends which GCs people are, or which planets are present in which GCs. The main thing I think we need to do with this is implement more messages when an election is going to be held. Maybe I should even just do that instead right now. All right, because we have the events. And so let's get the display manager. Boarding galactic display. Newsfeed display components. Will there be any new influence rewards? Yeah. There's going to be a lot related to that kind of thing. Influence rewards and punishments for poor influence. Actually, I'd have to figure out a lot for this. On incoming fleet. Yeah, I won't worry about that then. I'll just go back to what I was doing initially and not get distracted. All right. I think that's working. So we'll push that. And then the thing we really want to work on right now, we're going to get rid of this, is that, get rid of that. We're going to do influence stuff. Governments, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'm just going to collapse some of this stuff that we're not working on right now. Because we want influence service, which I'll just open in it, even though I don't think we need the initializer for it. All right, so every planet on top of all this stuff needs a unrest level equals 0. All right. Old unrest equals planet stats dot unrest level. So basically, at the start of all the updates for each planet, we go into, like, this is basically every characteristic a planet can have. So there's the influence level, the unrest level, and just so that we know the old value, we have this unrest level. So if it gets recalculated, we'll always have that one. Yeah, today after the podcast, we are doing, we're going to be doing squadrons. So the podcast will be 3 hours from now. Ak and I are going to be talking about some young Jedi Knights. And then after the podcast, so like an hour and a half later, probably 8:30 EST, we're going to be starting some squadrons. But so we've got influence modifier, my stats on our influence. So now that we've determined that, if planet stats dot owner influence is less than or equal to 2, I think the plan is 3. Then then planet stats dot unrest level. Just want to make sure I didn't capitalize that weirdly. Equals planet stats unrest level plus 1. And else, actually, I don't think we want to do else. But I think we want to leave this on its own. I use a Thrustmaster. Any chance of the MC-75 getting the Thrawn's Revenge? Only as a officially released submod. Same with Starhawk. So basically what Unrest is going to do is there will be certain negative penalties if you are not doing well with your planets, up to and including revolts and new factions emerging. Will Shaq be streaming with us? I don't know if Shaq's going to be there tonight. Maybe Wasted is. We haven't spoken to anyone else yet about tonight. But oh wait, this is the wrong place for this, because there's still some other stuff going on with it. There we go. So let's see. We are going to. I think the plan is that if it's less than 5 or over 5, then it gets reduced to 0. Or not to 0, but it gets reduced. If it's greater than or equal to 5, then -1. And then we're going to go to the normalized stats. So we need this. If planet stats.owner influence unrest level is greater than 3, then it equals 3. Greater than 0 equals 0. This basically just makes sure it doesn't exceed certain bounds, because you can only get up to 3 unrest. And then we're going to make another plugin for what's it called? For rebellions. So that'll be handled in a separate plugin. Where did I learn like Lua coding and stuff? This is just stuff that I've taught myself or learned from other devs of TR. Like Pox actually went to school for more programming related stuff, so I've learned a lot from him. But the rest, much like pretty much everything with modding, is just going to the files, doing what you got to do, and learn what you got to learn. You know what? This can be an else if. All right. So that works. And then if I should actually put this before. If you're coming into the week with your unrest that high, so this should be like the first thing we do. So we need to make sure first that it's not belonging to a new owner. New owner. Does it not already do anything with that? All right. If planet new owner is not old owner then if planet stats dots oh yeah, we don't even we don't need to worry about that. Rest equals then we're going to the plugin, which we don't have set up, so we don't need to worry about it. I'm setting that up now. There we go. How come you don't do a Mandalorian faction? Because after Endor, they were pretty small. They hadn't really been powerful for a while. They're not really at the level where they need to be to factor in. I fucked that up. That's supposed to be equals there. New information about Arrow 1 for Father, but we may or may not actually end up doing anything with that. But, you know. All right, so we have those done there. And this is also going to need to go old influence. Why is it sending old influence there? That's solar influence planet stats dot unrest level, because that should be displaying not a week delayed. And keep in mind, like even during Fall of the Republic's time, the Shadow Collective was not a viable faction either. That, if we did it, would be under the control of the Hutts. Like it would be like Maul as and some of those forces as part of the Hutts, because they could not compete in any way with any other faction. They would have like a Gozanti at most and maybe a couple ground forces. But yeah, so attach particle, planet stats. Huh? Okay. So we do that, and then planet stats, no influence, unrest, level. And this would be display unrest. There we go. Dirge. I think that's who you mean. Dirge would be a CIS hero. Inertial's already working on him. Do we need this? Oh, that's why. My bad. I was looking at the wrong one. Why is it taking the old influence for this? Oh, that's why, because it's comparing them. So we don't need to worry about that. That is correct. Mandator show when? That shouldn't be too long. I might actually switch over to texturing that before finishing some other art stuff. So this all checks out now. And we're going to do here, open up the particle editor, data, XML. We're going to go down to particles. Display influence 1, 2, and 3. We're going to copy that. We're just going to piggyback off of those for now. Display unrest 1. Display unrest 2. Display unrest 3. And P unrest 1. P unrest 2. P unrest 3. And that's all for me. All right, and oh, it was one of the last ones I actually modified. So here, need this one, basics, where's the position? Physics? Yeah. That seems wrong, but I'll just do that. P influence P unrest 1. And then I'll need to make that stop, but we'll save as P. Well, I actually want the number, so just want to make sure it's P influence. Let's do 4 for 2. This is just going to be to test it so that we can actually see if it's swapping properly. And I'm going to make it go away if it's not 3 or above, or 3 or below. 1, 2, 3. Any new ships that are going to be put in the mod? There are a lot of ships being done and redone for the next ships and vehicles for the next couple releases. Like Asserter, Mandator, stuff we were just talking about, like that. Immune effects for the CIS. There's a good amount of new content. All right. So I'm just going to minimize that for now. Does EAW actually care about and notation? We're not really looking for new people in any discipline at the moment. We were kind of lacking in mappers for a while, but we got a couple that we're training up right now. So we're gonna keep an eye on how things kind of develop right now, and then we'll kind of see from there. I'm going to just try an and statement, even though I'm not sure it'll actually work. Will revolt trigger real-time battle? It'll depend on the specific events. There will be some cases where there will be like actual events from it, like an actual battle, and other cases it'll be just the flipping. I was listening to music, Timmy. Generally, it'll be automatically flipping. Though there will be some situations where there'll be a battle triggered. Because, like, you have at least 3 weeks of it telling you this is going to happen. So, like, you have plenty of time to do something about it. If then or equal to 3 and greater than or equal to 1. Is there a between? Okay, that should work. Then and all right, so that should work. Display unrest, P unrest, that's all good. If you deploy a bunch of stormtroopers to a planet with no influence, that's all a problem? No. Simply throwing military assets on it will not really do much for your influence or for unrest. The more you tighten your grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers. So influence is 3, it starts to generate unrest. Don't most planets have 3 influence after you conquer and quickly build them up? Sort of, but we're also rescaling how influence works. Like there'll be more factors that impact it, so there'll be more like the actual starting point and the stuff you can do will change with that. So let's see. Will that crash everything, or did I do it correctly? I'm gonna go into Thrawn campaign. You're gonna do an epic intro such in Fall of the Republic. Yep, we're waiting on me to finish the Executor, and then Connor's gonna do some renders for that. And I broke it. GG. Let's see. This we don't really need yet, so maybe I should just get rid of that until I can test it. Unrest level, unrest level. Oh. Nope, that looks like that's actually correct. All right, I am going to debug mode. Well, we look at that. VB vol. Old unrest. Well, let's see. So this is empty, but it looks like it's correct. Old unrest equals that, blah, blah, blah. If everyone's going to be scrapped and fall into the public, does that mean you will not be able to place snares like up on flight or? Well, it's not that anything's scrapped. It's just that we set it up the way we did so that we'd have the ability to add them in fairly easily if we had scenarios or battles for that. But it's not that there's like specific plans we have already set up. It's just that stuff is there if it's a thing we get to. But those are like making assets and scripts for specific events and battles that you go into differently. It's not the kind of thing where we were ever planning on making like whole galactic conquests or anything about it, because it wouldn't really make sense for that. There we go. It's like there is no galactic conquest to play there unless we made a bunch of shit to make a Stark Hyperspace Combine faction or something. It would be specific historical battles. It would not be galactic conquests. Otherwise, like every planet is controlled by the Republic, and that's it. How's Revan's Revenge going? We are not directly like we're doing some assets for it, but until we're in beta for 3.0 and 1.0 of TR and Fall of the Republic, we're not really focusing on that. It's just like putting in some of the assets. Compare nil with number 89. How is this nil? What is being compared there, then? Like, what planet are you on? None of them are neutral, so that wouldn't be why. Any plans to re-add multiplayer GC once you're happy with single player? I mean, not once we're happy with single player, because when we're done with single player, we're just done the mod. It would be possible that we make multiplayer GCs in some version as a sub mod by like stripping out 99% of the mechanics. Like, there would never be able to be a version of the mod with multiplayer GC that has pretty much any of the mod's mechanics. We all have to strip almost everything out, and it'd be a lot more comparable to base game. And it would require a good amount of work to change stuff like the UI and the scripting to, or like the way units are set up to make that work. So it's not impossible, but it's not anywhere near the top of our priority list. Okay, why are you nil? Determine that. Normalize influence, planet stats. Why would you ever be nil? Any further plans to expand instant action, like adding ground battles, for example? There will be other stuff done with instant action, but doing instant action for ground is a lot more complicated than space. It's not quite as simple as just spawning in the units, because the way you actually get them would have to be different, and it's not as flexible as space. Did the IST get a model rework? Yeah, like 2 years ago, a year ago. Any plans with the Corellians? Not really. Again, when that kind of stuff has worker plans, we will announce it. But like, nothing other than what I've said last time. Let's see. Why is this not working? This is definitely a number. It's not nil. Well, let's hold on. If not, so if that is nil, then that should exit, and I'm not sure what's going on there, but at least we'll be in a better position. That's our next Fall of the Republic. Who's the next faction for TR? The Chist, the Hapens, or the Hutt. Depends on which things get done when. Because we need the assets for them to be done, as well as the government mechanics. So it really just depends on what stuff gets done when. Yes, the Vong will eventually be in as well. Alright, so that worked. I'm not sure why that would ever be nil, but we've got that check for it now. So I'm just going to get out of debug. I'm going to go into dev. Have you buffed the nebula? Nope, we have no plans to buff the nebula. The nebula is appropriately strong. They put out a lot of damage. They're not especially tanky, but again, a lot of damage comes out of them. All right. Let's see how we do here. Empire, Thrawn campaign. How much do you think a PC to run EAW mods would cost? Basically the big thing for that is the CPU. Pretty much everything else can be almost whatever, but CPU is kind of your big thing. And my CPU is the one that I would probably recommend. That's like good, not necessarily great for everything else, but like really good for Empire at War. And it's like a $500 Canadian CPU. With that, you can do like whatever. You can run it with like a 960 graphics card even. Like literally any graphics card from the last 10 years will be absolutely fine with it. But the CPU is kind of what you need a decent thing for. Who's making Revan's Revenge? All of us. Same as the other mods. So let's see.
Mission log updated.
Here's level 1. Alright, they should all be at 1 unrest. But I have no idea where the particle would show up. It looks like it's all updating still, so it's at least not crashing. Let's see what happens if we go over to next week. Of all the factions that have yet to be added, which are you most excited for? I'm kind of looking forward to all of them. Like, with the kind of stuff that we're hoping to do with all of them, they should all play pretty differently. So, or like that's the goal with a lot of the government mechanics and stuff. So I'm kind of hoping that that they live up to that and they're all interesting in their own way. And I know that kind of sounds like a PR cop-out answer, but like there's elements that we have planned for all of them that I'm looking forward to. So like I am looking forward to all of them for that reason. Yeah, that's about where the MCAB or where the Republic's probably going to show. Alright, so let's pop a routed air. And let's make sure the numbers are going up properly. So we'll get in here. And it looks like we're going to the display manager after all. Back to display. Content. I'm not sure where any of this stuff actually is. Planet listener. I think that's in galactic display. God, everything is so complicated now. What's your favorite mod that you created? All three of them I, again, like for different reasons. Like, Fall of the Republic is fun for the Clone Wars stuff, but I think TR has the more staying power. Like, I usually probably would end up going to TR for just the period, like what it allows for the factions. Player information display components. There we go. Influence service, resource manager. So we got that. Got those both open. All right. So now we can see this. Get influence for planet. Influence service. Get influence for planet. And so that does that. That returns here. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get both. I'm just going to do it the way I know how right now. That's usually what I end up doing. Get unrest for planet. Runner influence unrest level. Then this is going to be the same. Local unrest on planet. Unrest on planet, self-influence. And then we're going to do this. It has an influence, it'll also have an unrest level. So I will leave that in the same if. There's influence amount, unrest on planet. Local unrest on planet here. Unrest level equals unrest on planet. Display. So the way this actually works for the influence amounts on the top left is it's actually a game object. So we had to have a structure that it doesn't actually get spawned anywhere. It just has a name. And that, because you can't just put in the number on its own, you have to put in an object for it to display as a variable. It's fucking weird, but yeah. The Mandalorian War was claimed as canon. Have you thought? Mandalorian Wars would be included in Revan's Revenge. So, that. Well, the third I was talking about when I was talking about the mods I liked, I was talking about Ascendancy. Revan's Revenge, I can't play yet, so I can't really count that. So Ascendancy is our mod for Sins of Solar Empire. Isn't he spreading out too much? It's not just me. There's a lot of us that make stuff. The Thrawn Revenge team has 30 plus active people, so we're pretty confident in our ability to handle them all. Like, what's table current text? And we'll have to do this as well. Like, we have a lot of people making assets, we have a lot of people doing coding, we have a lot of people doing pretty much everything, and there's a lot that gets kind of carried over. But yeah, so we're we're pretty careful about what we expand into and making sure that it's all scalable. So yeah, it's, if we weren't confident in our ability to handle the additional work, we wouldn't start it. So don't worry about that. We'll do this. I think we need a variable at the end. Yes. There we go. Will new influence system also affect alignment of local militias and citizens? We're hoping to. It really depends on how efficiently we can pass the information between the different levels, and what the militia and indigenous force reworks end up actually looking like. So we'll end up having to cross that bridge when we get to it. Like, there's always the trade-off between like what we can do and what ends up running well with the load of like performance load, which it shouldn't be an issue, but we'll see. See, try don't. Do you know when the next update for Fall Republic? We don't have any release dates set for the mods yet. Once we're basically done, that's the only time we do release dates, because otherwise we'd basically just be making it up. Or like, you can essentially know when the mod's coming out, or you can know what's in the mod when you're making them. If you try to be too firm with release dates, or even like roughly on with release dates, then you're kind of just asking for trouble, because it all varies so much. Did I even change the thing in here that I needed to change properly? Get unrest for planets. I did. Okay, cool. Alright, so that worked. Unrest level 1. Unrest level 1. Don't like that. It should be 0. Oh, because I guess it doesn't have... Okay, I don't think that object exists properly. So I'm not actually concerned about that just yet. So we'll leave that. That's fine. But yeah, so like... It's impossible for us to know exactly how much work is left. It's impossible for us to know exactly who's going to be working on that much work. It's impossible for us to know what sort of bugs are going to come up, and it's impossible for us to know how much time any individual person is going to have to work on it. So there's too many variables for us to be able to say with any amount of confidence like when a release date would be. We're hoping, like, we have certain periods that we're hoping to hit or not hit, but we don't really announce them until we're confident we can do it. Because, like, there will be mods out there that, like, announce release dates all the time and then miss them all the time, and we try to not be that. But yeah. Unrest will be in Fall Republic as well. I have not... Yeah, I've seen the Star Destroyer for... Bob, I think, actually got that one. It looks really cool, but it seemed like it was hell for him to move it. Alright, so... It's not... It doesn't look like it's actually changing. Is balance or lower accuracy more important to you? I mean, you can have mostly lower accuracy and stay balanced, because then you have other, like, if you're talking like strictly power, then you have things like cost and availability you can go around with it. But then you have cases like the Executor, where to have it fully statted, you'd have to have like several times the pop cap. So like balance, like, you could class it more broadly as gameplay, where it's like fun, like how fun are ship armaments, and basically gameplay goes above lore accuracy. So our priority list would basically be like gameplay is the top level, then performance, then graphics, and lore accuracy kind of in the same level. So what is going on here? Okay, so I think it's just assuming it's nil every time. So there is something afoot that we need to not be afoot. Because it's always just exiting out of that before it changes the unrest. So normalize influence point the stats. I think I'm going to put this before it gets normalized. Because we need that to happen anyways. And let's see how that does. Because that may crash, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You mentioned that the Hand was one of your favorite factions. TR, whose favorite faction that you dislike? What's the faction that I dislike the most? As far as playing as them, I don't know. I don't think there's any that I dislike the most. Like from a design side, then there's factions like Ariadu that cause the most problems, or you lose the least for removing. But playing as them, maybe, is it Pentastar? It might be Pentastar. Maybe Zinj. I think Zinj is my least favorite to play as right now. Like, I like the setup we have for Raidu, but that setup would just move elsewhere, so. The last playthrough we did as Zinj was fun, but... the fact that you, like, start off with the SSD makes it less fun for me. Alright, so for some fucking reason, and this is our problem right now, owner influence is not a thing. I'm just going to grab this, actually, and pop it here, just to see if I can use that. So something crashed it. All right. Let's see if that did anything. I'm not sure why that was calling it invalid. Why that was nil. Alright, that's working now. So let's see. Yeah, it's even spawning the particles. Alright, and the unrest is ramping up how it's supposed to.
Mission log updated.
I mean, the display is saying it's the wrong level. But still. What's going to happen to the torpedo sphere? It'd go somewhere else. Whether a core part of another faction's roster or move to influence or something. Legitimacy. We'll see. Okay, so it's just grabbing the wrong level for the top corner, which is less of a problem. I probably just fucked something up there. Unrest level for planet. Information. Yeah, I fucked it up there. Get unrest for planet. Alright, so this is only going to be added if it's not 0. And there we go. Is there a Pelion era and Darth Crate? Pelion is era 5. Darth Crate is like 100 years after the Yuzon Vong War even. So that wouldn't be covered under this. That would be like a different, much later mod. Okay. This I could probably refactor a lot more. This is terrible. I can't think of a time that that would be in current text when it's not influenced, so... There. Because this check is just if the planet's owned, essentially. And if it has it, then it'll have that, and it doesn't need to check both, and that should work. So let's do this. $13. Unrest 3, unrest 2, 13, open P, unrest 1, 13. We'll see how that lines up for us. Will Fall of the Republic 1.0 come out before TR 3.0? We don't have one chosen to come out first necessarily. It just depends on when, again, certain stuff gets done. It's hard to say which is more likely to come out first. It really depends on which stuff we end up going forward with, because there's some stuff in Fall of the Republic that could end up taking more time than TR stuff. Like, it's kind of a toss-up to me which is likely to come out first. The CPU that I'd recommend for Empire at War is i7 7700K. As kind of like a, not like budget, but it's cheaper than most CPUs that would be equivalently performing, even if those CPUs would be better performing for everything other than Empire at War. Well, hey Christopher, glad you can make it. I do intend to do a couple more of these, because people seem to like these streams, so... If I can get a couple birds killed with one stone there. There we go. That's probably a better position, because I'm for the unrest bar. It won't be a bar, it'll be a different icon, but just for the purposes of showing everything. The stream is now sponsored by Pepsi. Alright, so the unrest is updating properly now. Like, that's the CPU I have, EVVol. So...
Mission log updated.
Like, it really depends on what your budget is. If you can get a better CPU than like an i7 or a more recent i9 or something. You thought about modding other games besides Empire War? I already do mod Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. We have Ascendancy for that. Alright, so that's all. Yeah. I'm not sure what this midweek freeze is from. That's one of the main things that we're looking into right now. Maybe I'll do some like personal stuff for FTL or something when I'm more familiar with that game, because that seems like it'd be fun. We better have the unrest bar on the right side of the planet? No, because this is all here. And it's not going to be a bar, it's just going to be like 3 icons. We may ultimately change some of the overall design stuff for all of it, but right now it's just... make sure that it's all applying properly. And now let's make sure that the stuff applies. Like, it doesn't overflow to 4. I'm not sure if this is the free store getting service or if it's something else. It looks like it's something else because it's not always the exact same time. We'll need to put in a bunch of debug information, which is going to be fucking annoying.
Moving to coordinates.
I hate running the debug build in this game. All right, so it's still 3. Perfect. Everything has worked properly. Got Terror 3, my heroes updated, and so did the enemies, but the problem is my only hero not updated. So Wedge doesn't automatically transfer into the Lusanke. You have to upgrade him. If you go to your political menu, then you'll usually have the option to upgrade. Like, really, for Empire at War, as long as you are above 4.0 gigahertz base clock speed, then you're probably good. Really want to know what the fuck's going on with this. It's going 1 tab earlier every time. It's only for that 1 notch. Like, I don't know what's happening right now. And I'm pretty sure it's part of the combat power monitor, but how does the ship crew system work? It's just another resource. So you have an income of ship crews, and then you have like different ships cost different amounts. Oh right, the Thrawn campaign was the one that was crashing. I think there's an event that goes wrong. What's going on with Order 65 and Fall of the Republic? Not sure what you mean. I'm pretty sure this is just... All right. Add that to the issue tracker. There be like special ground unit? No, we don't plan on doing any particular special ground. I mean, Jedi. There's that. That's a pretty special ground unit. So let's go here. Well, we've already tested the thing we wanted to test with that. So, yeah, I don't think we need to test that right now. Glad you enjoy them, Campbell. There will be different like hero sets that are available through them as well, but like Order 65 versus Order 66. Do I have? I guess I have this open, so I can show you some of that. Yeah. Is there a Blender plugin for Empire War files yet, or do you still need 3D? Yeah, there isn't. There's a Blender plugin. Okay, so this really ought to be a plugin of its own. I can close a lot of this. No one gives a fuck about this. Oh, I didn't want to close that one. Influence service. You can open again. And this is the init for influence service, right? No, this is this galactic display. Get rid of all of you. All right. Abstract resources. Source manager init. That's dependent on the resource manager. And the resource manager here ship cruise says that. Okay. All right, we need we need another plugin. So let's go there. Data scripts. Library plugins. I'm just gonna copy influence service. And this will be revolt manager. And that's what we want for that. Open you guys and move that farther over. When is the next Monday modding? Right now. It's Monday in spirit. But I usually do more recording on Monday, so I don't know how often I'm actually going to be doing this on Mondays. A zero command going to get Megador, Dominion, and Air Progressives? Probably not. That would be a lot. So... Revolt manager. Should it be its own plugin or should it just be part of... I don't know if it should be its own plugin. I think it should just be part of Influence, potentially. Pox, should this be its own plugin or should I just make it its own part of Influence? I feel like it should just probably be an Influence. I don't want to put it like in the actual Influence file, but I want to put it like in a new file within Influence. Kind of like how the display manager is set up. It's only ever going to rely on Influence stuff. And then we can use the Influence policy repository information for some additional stuff for that. I feel like that makes the most sense. But actually, then we can have the revolt manager do stuff that isn't influence based. So no, we do need that. Fuck. Okay. Do we need a dummy lifecycle handler for that? No. Yeah, but we'd want the plugin to do... I'm trying to decide whether we'd want the plugin to do other stuff, and I think we do. So I think having it be its own plugin rather than a class within Influence would make sense. No, because Influence is always going to be part of that. Okay, no, we don't. We can have it be part of Influence without having to call it. So, Revolt Manager, I'm just going to get rid of you. I don't have the thing that automatically generates this, but I don't think yours even works anymore, Pops. See you, Pox. Don't be too disappointed. I'm just going to delete all this. And you can go away. Init doesn't need that. Where's the display components? Init, so it has all of it. What's the other one's category filter in it? It's a government manager, so we just need in here. Yeah. All right. Planets, influence service. Let's see. Influence manager. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Do we need this as its own class, or is it just a function we're calling? How do you feel about the base game of EAW? Sometimes infuriating. No, we don't need that. Right. And then this should probably require removing thing. Expanded tr data scripts story GC for progressive campaign. We definitely need change owner utilities for this. All right. If unrest equals 3. Is that the object that's actually... Yeah, I think it is. Looking a bit pale. Well, that's mean. I'm just in the basement a lot. You're moving the CR90 super laser. Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, this is Lua. All right. So let's change planet owner and retreat. Oh, I need to open that again. I'm just going to do it this way. Oh, right. It's not a class. So I don't think we need this to be a class itself. I guess we do need this to be a class, actually. Acquire that. Acquire... We definitely need PG spawn units. I should probably put this after. I think that requires it as well. Probably doesn't matter that much, but... Tabletop of the X, Charlie, Shaq, Wasted, and You. Super good. How long is that going to last? We've got at least one more session in it, but I know a lot of us want to do more. Whether it's something we can turn into like a regular thing on its own, or if we extend the current one or do another one, like I think it's something we're all open to. But Shaq in particular has a lot of obligations that, well, as the GM, that's a huge time investment for him. But like, as you guys probably know, if you've seen like Edge of Despair, I'm always looking for more tabletop. So if I can make that be a thing, then hopefully we'll be able to do it more. Like if I have to learn how to GM, then that's something I can do. But it is, again, a huge time commitment. So does this need to be... It's a plugin. Don't need that. Manager, we can get rid of this. One service. I think that's new. Unless that's how class already works. No, I'm fucking this up. I need this to be its own plugin. I'm doing this the dumb way. Wow, thank you, Revenaut, for the $200 tip. Getting us very close to the green screen. Thank you very much. Can we get some WoW green screens in chat, please? Thank you very much, dude. Now I just gotta make all these, change it to being WoW thanks Revenaut. What was I doing before that? I need to have some sort of animation with like confetti dropping or something. I don't know. Seems like the only appropriate response. Well, really, that's not very good value for your money, Revenant, but it's all I'm capable of doing, and apparently not even that. Oh, congratulations. I just got a surprise pay raise too. Revolt manager. The downside of having no idea what I'm doing is that I have to do shit like this. Well, asterisk, the green screen shenanigans are me. It has been requested that I make a series of videos for people to put shit behind me. Charlie has done something similar, and I said I'd do it if we hit a certain amount of stream donations. So, yeah. It's going to be embarrassing, but I have committed to it. Any specific graphics card? Like, for Empire, like, I can really only advise on like Empire at War stuff, and almost any graphics card is going to be good enough for that. I don't know enough about hardware to, like, especially for Americans, like what's affordable or not. It really depends on your budget, and there are other places that are probably better to go than asking me for like what would be a good get for you depending on your budget, because it is very budget dependent, and it's not an area that I pay a huge amount of attention to except for when I'm making my own system. So I don't really know. I wouldn't listen to me about it, basically. And I know no YouTuber has ever said that about anything, but it's not my strength. What are your thoughts on Total War? I really like Total War. I wish I could play it more on the channel, because that would be pretty epic. But whenever I do, it's people don't tend to go for it. And the same is kind of true of the Squadrons campaign right now, so I'm probably going to stream the rest of that rather than doing them as standalone videos, because people will tend to probably just drop in for that kind of thing rather than the standalone videos where people are less interested in the campaign. So yeah. Manager, revolt manager, and this is going to be dependent on the revolt manager. Revolt manager, revolt manager, revolt manager, revolt manager. So this way we can use it for outside stuff as well. But we'll have it after aspect resources. So revolt manager equals revolt manager. What are revolts? They are when your planets don't like you anymore. We don't need abstract resources. We don't need dummy life cycle handler. We just need human player and planets. Maybe. No, maybe not even planets. Yeah, we have no reason to go through all the planets. We don't need any of this. Squadrons over high. I mean, like, the reason that you're seeing as much of it on Twitch as that you are is because we are enjoying it. Like, I know some of the channels you follow, like myself, and I'm pretty sure you follow, like, Mark as well, Asterix. And, like, for a lot of us, we're playing it that much because we really do love it that much. I get that for a lot of people who may be more used to, like, Empire at War or something, it may not be quite as much your cup of tea to watch. Or it might just not be as fun to watch in general as EAW, but to a certain extent, like, it's both new and it's the game that we really want to play, so that's why it's getting streamed as much as we are. Like, I know a lot of the X2 viewers in particular have been kind of sad about how much Squadrons there's been, and part of that is that, like, Ek can't drink right now, which means we can't do stuff like Mario Kart. But I've been trying to make sure I can still get as much in of the other stuff as I can. Like FTL yesterday, FTL tomorrow, I've done 2 of these streams, some Empire at War. Like, I'm going to be doing another Empire at War campaign starting soon. I'd normally have 2 going. Right now it's just the Empire of the Hand one because there's some stuff like this that needs to get done before I can do it. But I'm also going to be starting a new Stellaris playthrough. I haven't posted the first episode yet, but it should be up. Is that going to be tomorrow? Yeah, I think it's tomorrow and Sunday for those episodes, and then Saturday for the Empire of the Hand one. But I'm kind of trying to make sure that I can do my job properly and still do okay without always having to be like 24/7 Empire at War. So having another game like Squadrons that I can do regular streams in and have that do all right, even if people are like watching more for like the group dynamic rather than the game being quite as watchable, then that's nice as well. But yeah, back to work for Kawi. Influence service, influence service, influence service. Does that make sense? We got to go down to TR. Go to installed plugins. We need to enable Revolt Manager. And let's also go down to Fall the Republic. And that needs to be in scripts. Library, installed plugins. What is boarding listener, right? Does boarding listener still do anything? I think it does. Did you ever play Empire Earth? No. No, there's a different game I was thinking of. But no, I have not. When's the next TR stream? That'll be on Monday, the Empire of the Hand recording, so 4 more episodes will come into that. What's easier to use, Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio? I use OBS Studio, Ek uses OBS Studio, Charlie used to use Streamlabs OBS, but me and Ek told him to cut that shit out. Streamlabs OBS is the best. Streamlabs OBS has some interesting features for streaming, but there's other stuff that's missing from it. I don't remember what it is exactly that made me stop using it, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend. Do not recommend Streamlabs OBS. Charlie actually, so I'll show you guys this, but this is my OBS. So because I have multiple streams scheduled right now, there's my desktop, the X2 background. Sorry, Connor. I've been meaning to get one of the other backgrounds, but I need to get the higher resolution version. But so this is a dock that you can use just built in. This is actually something that Charlie made. to actually show YouTube chat in OBS, which is really fucking helpful. But see asterisks. So yeah, that was something that was kind of missing from basic OBS that's in Streamlabs OBS. But yeah. Revolt manager. So we need revolt manager in there. Influence service. All right. Then we need a faction list, which I'm just going to lift from another thing. Gato. Does that not have the break off? Or we don't actually do that. Okay. Data XML. No, I'd have to go to TR. TR data XML factions. It is called Warlords. And this is used for independent stuff everywhere. So that's going to be kind of our default thing. Self.p warlords. The big question is what's actually getting passed there, because I'm not sure if planet is the actual planet object or if it's the name. Planet. I think that's that. Planets. Blah. Yeah, so it'll be fun because this will make everything swap right away right now, but that should be fun anyways. Self.revolt manager. Thank you, Ravon. Appreciate it. Hope this helps you on your journey for success. Well, appreciate it very much. It definitely does. Any new textures, models that have been put in the test version? There are a ton. It's hard to keep track of everything, but there are a bunch of new models and textures and since the last episode. My bad. No, I don't know. So there none of the Empire of the Hand stuff yet that hasn't already been shown in the episodes, but getting the files in from the other branch isn't really a huge priority because it can sometimes just fuck stuff up. But there has been a lot of stuff done in the main mod that I haven't really pulled into the episodes. But does VS Code have proper Lua IntelliSense? Yes, I don't have the plugins for that right now though, and there is not a release date decided. No, not yet. Once there is, we'll plaster it everywhere though. Manager. And planetary revolt planet. Actually, I don't think we want change planet owner and retreat right now. We will want that later. We want, though, there's an EAWX util. Change planet owner and replace. Oh, that's what we already got. Cool. So self.planet. I'm not sure, again, what kind of object that is, but I think it is actually... I think we do need to get object. There are actually 3 like Chiss Ascendancy units that are mostly done that just haven't been put in yet. 4 actually. Well, I guess 3 because the Syzygos is going in for the playthrough. But there are 3 units on top of that that are like the Chiss style that aren't in for the playthrough, but will be in as soon as the Chiss become their own faction. So that should be fun. Well, let's get name. No, okay, so it is not the game object. We need to get game object. So that's what I wanted. So I think that should work. We're going to hit 3 with that. See you, Raven. Thanks for the donation. Okay, let's give this a shot. And there'll be like more variance in what actually happens. This is just to get the basic function to make it so that it actually does the things it's supposed to does. So here. All right, and then after this one, after this test, we'll probably end the stream.
Planetary control.
And then we've got Tap Calf coming up in an hour. So I gotta have some time to maybe eat something or go talk to Dana. But we'll see how we do with the revolts. It's gonna be trying to revolt like every planet in sequence. So it'll be fun. This is live work on the mod features, TSPG. Oh, actually, because the planets that you don't start with are a week delayed on actually getting captured, because these are technically counted as captured the start of week 1, so that's after influence calcs. Then it'd send Karita first, so it won't be every planet at once. Who's hosting it today? It's Eck today, so it'll be on youtube.com/Eckhart'sLadder/live. Is tonight's episode sponsored by product? It is always sponsored by product. Not that they've sent us our money yet. Bastards. I'm mostly impressed and concerned that it did work. Hold on. Or that it hasn't crashed yet. I didn't make this. Oh, I did make it dependent. Shit. This isn't supposed to be... So I assume this is going to die. But, oh well. We'll see if it worked. Because those were not correct. Those weren't supposed to be there. Oh well. It's not the right can. That's gross. That's what I get for not putting that can in the trash yesterday. Or not trash. Recycling. Actually, no, that might have been from... That's from pizza earlier. Did have the other Coke today. So we're good. We're just warm. So it'll be next week that Karita flips. Oh, is this the same? Is the same thing happening here? So maybe it's not the Thrawn campaign. No, maybe just doesn't recover as well in Thrawn campaign. That freeze is the biggest bug that we currently need to figure out.
Enemy fleet approaching.
What's going on that it's calculating?
Enemy fleet approaching.
As long as you don't attack Rita.
Tactical battle imminent. Tactical battle imminent.
You can have those planets.
Tactical battle imminent. Barracks destroyed. Tactical battle imminent. System lost.
Is that actually going to work? No. But it didn't crash. So that's fun. Alright. That's all we're going to be able to get done today. We'll hopefully have another modding live stream next week or something. But part of it may be because of this. But I'll leave it here for now. So hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Again, we're going to have Tapcaf, my podcast with Eck, in an hour. You can check that out on his channel. You just search Eckhart's Ladder. You probably know it. But we're going to be talking about Young Jedi Knights, the Lost Ones. Then after that, we're probably going to be playing some Squadrons. So thanks again for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.